It's the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast with Alex Trataros, John Meleka, and Raisi on the beat. Let's go.
What's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And what means always my buddy, my coach, pal, the man with a plan, the guy who's probably disgusted as I am, kind of from this past week, from how the New York Knicks have been playing basketball. You know, there's been some ups, downs, disgusting. Second unit looks good, except for last night. First unit, and not really the first unit, it was just a Julius Randle show, and no one else decided to show up. But John, my man, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing as good as I can possibly be with the state of my sports teams, right? The Jets are making me sad. The Knicks are hurting me inside right now. But I think we're going to get it together, man, especially on the Knicks side. Like you said, our guy, the guy who we're resting our whole team on, Julius, he's back. And as long as he's good, we're good. That's how I'm looking at it, man. If Julius is good, we're good. If we have like 2019, 2020 Julius mixed with like whatever we saw those first 10 games, I can't rock with it. But right now, I'm good. I'm stable. I'm ready for the Lakers. LBJ, no LBJ, I don't give a damn, bro. I'm ready. I'm ready for this big slate coming up, man. Lakers, Suns, it's tough out here. I'm ready.
It is going to be tough out here. And, you know, we got a phenomenal guest with us to go through what we just saw this past week with the New York Knicks. We're going to go through this upcoming schedule, and we're going to get into some of his work because we really do appreciate and enjoy his work, whether it's on ESPN or just if you're listening to this album, it's on Spotify or iTunes, man. We got Yaw Geez with us today, hip-hop artist, poet. You know what it is. Yaw, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, y'all. You know what I mean? It's just a pleasure to be with like-minded fans who are doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to be here, ready to get into whatever we want to talk about tonight.
Awesome. Well, let's start off with the first one, man, because we got the Lakers, as John pointed out. LeBron James, man. I want to go over this first. The hit that he had on Isaiah Stewart, because it plays into what we're going to deal with this upcoming schedule. Is he going to be there? He won't, because he's already suspended. But what do you think about that before we get into
about the
the mini brawl, man? Little Mouse at the Palace Part 2.
A little melee, a little fracas, as they say.
Yeah.
I think just from playing basketball myself, I don't think LeBron intentionally meant to hurt him and hit him in the face. I think he was just really trying to, just try to get off me a little move. And it is unfortunate that he hit him in the face, and Stewart started leaking. It was pretty bad. And I think, once he tasted his blood, I think, because at that point, when you get hit like that, most times in the heat of a battle, you're not even thinking about blood. You're just more like, oh, it must be just sweat. You don't even think about it being blood until you actually taste the blood when it's pouring down. That guy's crazy. that dude is a guy. Anybody that can run 3 or 4 times back to a person.
My man was running like Brandon Jacobs back on the New York Giants, just pushing guys out of the way.
Like Brandon Jacobs, I felt like there's a little Bo Jackson in there too. He made a little shimmy move to try to get to LeBron, but that dude is crazy. One, I don't believe LeBron wanted any of the smoke, and justifiably so, because guys like that you don't want to get in the way of. As far as LeBron getting suspended, I think it's justified just based on the rules. I remember a few years back when Kobe hit Manu in the face and had to serve a suspension. I know he had a couple incidents prior to that with the little thing he was doing, but justifiably so. Got suspension, which I'm not mad about coming into the Garden tomorrow.
Yeah, so funny, right? What a coincidence!
It ends up working out in our favor. We all know how LeBron loves playing in the Garden. He relishes killing us in the Garden. So not having that, I like our chances tomorrow way better. And I also like to see Melo back in the building tomorrow is going to be a nice little thing as well. Definitely.
No water bottle flipping from LeBron tomorrow, man.
No, that was
that was the most disrespectful thing.
When you think about how LeBron is just like constantly just needled the Knicks and disrespected the Knicks, and even with comments on IG, things like that throughout the years, you develop a little bit of hate for LeBron. I'm not all the way there on LeBron hate as much as most Knicks fans are, but it'd be good not to see him out there tomorrow. Honestly, I like our chances to win.
But you still didn't think that was intentional though, even though you hate LeBron.
I don't hate LeBron.
Okay, you're on the scale. You're on the scale. It's fine. You're a Knicks fan, man. You're supposed to be. He's been on every team that we hate. He's ruined us every year. Like you should not like LeBron James.
The Miami thing was a killer for me. I can't lie. I can't. Like anybody who grew up in the 90s, I mean, it's Miami, Indiana, Chicago. Those are the three that you just don't bang with. I don't bang with those three teams
ever. And they beat us in the playoffs. It's not like
So but like I said, I had to stop hating LeBron once he got back to Cleveland, just because for me,
same.
A lot of times greatness kind of takes over. It happened with Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I used to hate Tom Brady. Happened to me with Kobe. I used to hate Kobe. And then it was just like, nah, this dude is just too great. You know what I mean? And then Kobe actually ended up being my favorite player of all time after I got rid of the hate. So, but yeah, tomorrow is in the building. We're not in the building, but we're gonna see what happens. We need a big win. We need to win bad. So anxious to see what happens tomorrow. Definitely.
For sure. But before we get into the rest of the schedule, let's get back on topic. I just needed to touch on that because we usually like to tuck that away towards the end of the pod, but I feel like we had to get that out of the way first. It was just
Isaiah Stewart on the mat, baby. Isaiah Stewart's on the mat.
Big news.
Yeah, big news. I mean, Isaiah Stewart is also a New Yorker, Rochester, New York. Stand up. Yeah. I'm not from Rochester, but hey, still New York.
But he's been a beast, man. And now he's going to be a household name, and it's going to be because he got into a scuffle with LeBron, what it is. But he's going to be on the map now. I'm happy for him. He's been beast this whole the last couple of years.
He's actually he's just a big mammoth man. I watched him play a couple times this year, and he just takes up a lot of space, rebounds the ball well.
So good.
Defends his position pretty good. So yeah, I mean, he's a decent player from what I've seen. I've only watched him, probably about 3 or 4 games this year. But
that's John's boy right there.
He's a guy that I would love to have on the Knicks just as a bully. You know what I mean?
I've been preaching, bro.
I'm that era. You know what I mean? Just laying wood. You can't come in here and just do what you want. And I think he's one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So I like Stewart's game.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure. That's John's boy right there. John has been preaching Isaiah Stewart since last season. He's like, you know how good Isaiah is? We need a center in here. Have you seen Isaiah Stewart? From the get-go. He's like, Isaiah.
Because you watch him, and then I watch Noel, and his fingers broken, his knees this.
And he can't catch. Can't catch. Yeah, so,
Mitchell's out.
I would love to have a guy like Isaiah Stewart in New York City. No question about it.
Oh, man. That would really take it back to 90s Knicks, just beating it down in the paint.
He's like Mason and Oakley, with probably about 2 or 3 inches more taller. He's just man, don't even try it when you come in here.
Yeah.
And then after seeing what he did, and then after seeing what he did yesterday, who wants to mess with him?
Come on through.
Not Westbrook, I'll tell you that much.
No.
Even though he got that tech.
None of them. So
that was the fakest NBA hold me back I've ever seen from Westbrook. He was just going like this with his hand, he did not want anyone near him.
Putting his dukes up, and I'm like, yo, bro, you're not fighting.
He would kill Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Anyway,
oh man.
I just hope Russell Westbrook shoots in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
Versus the Knicks. That's all I'm hoping for. That's all I need.
Shoots the Lakers out. Westbrook with a stat line of 4 for 13.
That's all I need.
I probably 4 for 17. Honestly, for keeping ball, I'm off the Russell Westbrook train. I feel like I don't like players who get worse progressively in their prime. That's just not I don't subscribe to that. I don't love it at all. So
Let's just stay here. Let's just stay on this Lakers game. Do you guys think we're gonna be able to win this game without LBJ? Because they still have Anthony Davis. We just mentioned Russell Westbrook, which we can expand on if you would like.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think this Knicks team, as you said, desperate Knicks team, need a W? What do you think? What do you think we're gonna do against this LeBron-less Lakers?
The one thing I noticed about the Knicks this year is that they get up for games that are for good teams. You know what I mean? They play well against Chicago both times. I think Indiana's a pretty good team. I don't think the record is indicative of how good they can be. Honestly, they get up for good teams. So they've played well again. And even last year, if you look at the Brooklyn games, they play well against good competition. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. I'm really anxious to see Fournier. I think Fournier's got I'm waiting for him to break out of this slump badly. You know what I mean? I think honestly, that's been if we could have just gotten 15 points from Fournier game, I don't think we'd be anywhere near where we are right now. I think we'd be probably somewhere 4 or 5 games over 500. I feel like he can move the needle, but he's just been so bad. And I'm anxious to see what happens in the Garden tomorrow. The energy is going to be electric. Like I said, it's not like it's Cleveland. It's not like it's Orlando. I feel like, even the Houston game, we slow pace these games, kind of sleepwalk through these games early. But I feel like with the bigger teams, when we played Boston, you know what I mean, came right out, and it was a show. You know what I mean, and they were ready to play. So I think the Knicks are going to come out tomorrow aggressive. I think yesterday was a good game for a lot of reasons. I think Julius finally getting out of his slump was good. Kemba played well in the third quarter. I feel like Kemba should have played the fourth quarter as well. I feel like he deserved it, but Tibbs and his trust issues with Derrick Rose. Like, Derrick Rose can do no wrong to Tibbs. So in the fourth quarter, he feels like he has to play him, and I get it, but I like to see Kemba get a little more opportunity. But I was happy to see him kind of break out of his little funk yesterday. Played well in the third quarter, and RJ's been struggling too. And I feel like RJ, this is a game RJ is going to need to really step up offensively. He's got to make shots. Has to make shots. He missed a bunny yesterday that pissed me off so bad. I almost ran out the house.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
You and me both.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, and I said this to my homie, I'm not sure if there's a player that I've rooted for harder than RJ Barrett because of the way that the media has treated him. Him getting snubbed from the all-rookie team was completely bogus to me. I still can't believe that.
Yeah.
There was a guy on that team who averaged 5.4 points a game. He was on an all-rookie team, and it's like, yo, is it because he plays for the Knicks? Is it because he's Canadian? Is it because that I don't know what the reason was, but I've never rooted for a guy, Nick, harder than I root for RJ Barrett. I'm really, and my group, in the group chats and everything is just like, oh, RJ sucks. And when you watch RJ play, I don't think he sucks. I just think he's coming to his own. But I really would like him to get back to that stretch where he was 20, 25. You know what I mean? Just and it was the game against New Orleans where he really went off, had 35, 8, and 7. I need to see more of that type of RJ, the control. And he played, and I think he's gonna get there. I think he's gonna break out of the slump. But one thing I always give RJ credit for is that he never really gets down on himself. You don't ever see him visibly shaking. He's always in the moment and keeps playing. So hopefully that'll translate tomorrow into some buckets and hopefully a New York Knicks win.
Yeah, for sure. And just even elaborating on that, like, because there's so many good points you talked about, whether it's like Fournier needed to give us 15 points just to stay in games, which I 100% agree with, allowing Kemba just to play in the fourth, because we finally saw him in the third quarter be that facilitator, be that guard that penetrates the paint and starts dishing. He had good lobs to Noel. He had that really sweet pick and roll dish to Julius Randle, which I'm like, yo, we've been asking this from like last season. Pick and rolls to Julius Randle is probably like the easiest thing you can get. Like, he's a truck.
Yeah, particularly when the other team doesn't have any bigs. Like, Chicago was short on bigs already. They're not, they had Vucevic wasn't out there last night, but even then, you got to take advantage of that, particularly when you got Julius on the court. And another thing I needed Julius to do was also just get to the cup more. And I think the reason for his struggles as well was that he was taking a lot of jump shots, a lot of like mid-range jumpers, and I think we get caught up in this age of basketball where I feel like everybody feels like they need to shoot the jumper to get themselves going, but at the very basis of every coach is going to tell you if you're struggling from the field shooting, got to get to the cup, go get a couple layups, maybe get a foul, maybe get to the line, maybe that'll get you going. I feel like he did that yesterday, and it started to manifest itself. He played a really good game yesterday, so I would love to see a two-man game from Kemba way more often. Also, early in the year, there was a two-man game between Fournier and Randle that was really working well early in the year, and all of a sudden it kind of went away from. I'm not sure what the hesitation is with that, but I think we need to get back to that as well. And I'm confident. I'm cautiously confident that they're going to come around. So we'll see. What happens.
No, and there's reason to be that confident in like them turning around, right? And to even add on to that, it's confidence for shooting, right? Like, that's why you go to get your layups. It's like, all right, physically see the ball going in the hoop to think like, oh, I can actually do this. Do it a couple times, then go back out to your jumpers. The next thing you know, you can start hitting your threes because you're just shooting with confidence, playing with confidence. This game is so driven around confidence. It's insane. And I think that's part of it with RJ. And you talk about rooting for RJ, like probably the hardest because, one, all the slander that he's gotten, as you pointed out, Two, it's not even just slander outside of Knicks fans. It's even within Knicks fans, which
That's
is
the
just
problem.
insanity. It's like, how
That's
do
why
you
I agree. I
It's
agree
like-
with Yaw so much. I've never rooted for someone so much because of the inner wall, like the issues in the inner walls. I don't even care what the media says. I don't even care about the rookie stuff, Alex.
Like,
You're so
and-
right.
But and like I get like questioning like how good RJ can be, especially if he's in these slumps. And it's like I say that he's 21, and at the same time, like even on KFTV, I pull it back saying he's still in his third year. Like you still need to be somewhat consistent. Like you can't just go, you can't vanish. You know, I need you to have some sort of like points on the board, and that's what's really frustrating because he can have these stretches where he's just going nuclear and get you 20, 30 points, shooting the lights out from three. And next thing you know, you get these 5, 6, 7 games, and you're like, why are you ice cold? What is going on? Like, what is happening here? And it's that can't be confidence because this kid's rebound. He had 15 rebounds yesterday.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
You know,
I think if RJ, one of the things RJ needs to do, maybe the whole team needs to do, is it's like there needs to be more cutting. Like sometimes he just finds himself staying in the corner. And one thing I've always noticed, just playing basketball, you can steal buckets that way. If you just find lanes to cut and somebody find you, just keep moving. Somebody will find you for a layup. Not only that, but like particularly when the scouting report is out on you and everybody knows that you're going to be standing in the corner, it just puts the offense at such a disadvantage because everybody knows that when Julius makes his move, he's probably going to go to the corner to either RJ or Evan, and they're on that, and it creates a turnover. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, RJ, find little pockets within the offense to go steal a layup somewhere. You know what I mean? Or go get to the line, and I think that will help out his game so much if he's able to do that.
yeah, for sure. And like, if it's what's so weird is when we watch this team in the preseason. They were doing that. Everyone was like on fire. It's like, wow, is this the team we're getting? Yeah,
in game 1 too.
That first game, man. I keep thinking about how Fournier played, and I was just like, yo, I was literally thinking to myself, if we get this all year, nobody's gonna stop us. I truly believe that. I was like, nobody was gonna stop us. Evan Fournier is playing this well because it literally. I mean, even he was going off dribble and getting to the cup. Finding people, and this is the same thing he used to do to Orlando to us, and he used to win games against us with this same. But it just hasn't manifested itself in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and he's not even pressing, which is a good thing. He's not pressing about it. He's a professional. He's been in the league a long time. He knows it to come back around. But man, Evan, we need these buckets so bad.
Yeah, and you saw how the energy was in the Garden. I mean, I was there, and it felt exactly like the Hawks playoff games. So I was like, yo, if Fournier's doing this, and we're going, the Garden has this energy, it's going to be insane. But the truth of the matter is, he's fell off a cliff since that day, and the Knicks suck at home. At the end of the day,
crazy to say, it's like. I can't believe they're playing this bad at home and playing so much better on the road. Like the games I expect them to lose. I went to Philly for the game in Philly, and I was just like scared shitless. Like I do not.
Yeah. That was a must win too. That was a must win.
Must win game.
Yeah.
Must win game. Second night of a back-to-back, Embiid wasn't playing, Thibault wasn't playing. It was like, yo, you have to win this game. And Evan wasn't great, but Julius was, and RJ came through in the clutch and quickly was great. So, the thing about the Knicks is they have to figure out they have to win the games they are supposed to win. You have to, and that's what made the Chicago loss last night so like gut wrenching, is because like, yo, we just lost 2 games that we shouldn't have lost at all. We actually won the Houston game, but the Orlando game just really vexed me, and I was just like, it just makes me mad because
I was so pissed.
I can take a loss to Chicago when that happens. You know what I mean? When I can take a loss to Chicago if we're winning the games we need to win. You know what I mean? Chicago's a tough team, playing on the road, second night of a back-to-back. Chances are you're supposed to lose that game, but it was a winnable game we lost, and it was just like and I just want to get some consistency in beating the teams that we're supposed to beat. Now we have a 6-game stretch where it's going to be a little rough. We got the Suns, we got the Hawks. In this
Nets, the Lakers, everyone, the Bulls again.
If we can find a way to split, just get 3-3. I think going forward, they will have had figured themselves out and be able to string together some wins going forward into the beginning of the next year.
Yeah, and I think you pointed out, in the beginning of it, is that you saw Randle starting to get into the paint. You started seeing him get activated in the Bulls game. And just getting back into his whole flow of what he was doing last season. And if that's how we're going to play, that's one of the pieces of the puzzle that needs to be unlocked. And hopefully it translates into tomorrow. Hopefully we're not going back, taking 2 steps back. If he can stay consistent doing that same thing, I think everything will fall into place. I think the next thing that needs to fall into place is what Kemba did in that third quarter and be the be that second playmaker, that facilitator, get everyone else organized, because RJ, as much as I love RJ, I want RJ to do well. He's not a shot creator. Like he can't do that yet for himself. A little bit here and there, not here for you. You need someone like Kemba and Randle who can draw so much attention, that have that type of gravity where it's either give him an open shot, whether it's him cutting the lane, him getting out in transition, all those things that you need him to do. And then, you can give him the screen, let him get to his mid-range, do the snake dribble. And those are the small things that he can do and really shine. And I feel like Kemba getting that position, being that playmaker, being that point guard. Because right now we're just asking him to be out in the corner, out in the perimeter, not really doing anything. And he's not this catch and shoot type of point guard. He's not like Mario Chalmers on the Miami Heat, where it's like, all right, dude, just hang out over there. We'll figure this all out with everybody else. He needs to be involved. He needs to be playing. And if he can get going, then I think there's a lot. Then we're really starting to get this ball moving. And then I feel like Evan Fournier can get in. Honestly, Evan Fournier is like a big question mark for me too, because he's another guy that's a playmaker and that needs the ball in his hand. And I wonder if we just have too many guys, there's too many chefs in the kitchen who need to be doing some playmaking.
And just to juxtapose that, if you think about who he replaced with Reggie Bullock, Reggie Bullock doesn't need the ball to be effective. And you know what you're going to get from him defensively. So it's like, you're going to get plus minutes from him defensively. And every big shot we needed Reggie Bullock to hit last year, he hit in the regular season, I'll say. Playoffs was a little, obviously, because scout reports come out and things like that. But if we can just get Evan to figure out how to find his spots and find his like dribble creation. Because even in the first game, he was getting to the cup, Euro steps, layups, floaters. None of the floaters are falling all of a sudden. None of them, and it's frustrating because I like Evan. I love the way he plays basketball. I truly do. But for this team and in this city, it's gonna get dicey if you don't start producing in the next month or so. They're gonna be calling for your head, calling for trades. I've already seen people saying, "Hey, go get Buddy Hield." You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, and
no one's trading Buddy here for Fournier.
We already have people saying we should have gotten DeRozan this offseason. We have people like yelling we should have gotten DeRozan. I'm just like, I like DeRozan. Questionable if he would have fit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, would he have fit? You know what I mean? And I love DeRozan too, but we have Evan. Evan will get the buckets. That's just what has to happen. Go play. You have to play well. And like I said, I know people are saying it's still early, but that early tag is,
we're at Christmas. The regular season's about to start, right? That's what we always say.
Big Christmas game against the Hawks that we have to play well. Like, leading into that game, there can't be any BS. Got to play well. All right.
So let me ask you. It's a perfect transition because I've been kind of working this up in my brain for last week or so. I haven't really said it out loud, but also Burks was in a blue jersey, right? He got caught in a blue jersey in practice. So let me ask you guys, do you think it would be advantageous for the Knicks team as a whole to maybe put Fournier on the bench and Burks in the front? I know, before you yell at me, the bench is amazing. I don't want to mess with the bench. I get it. But at the same time, the starters stink. So we have to figure something out here. So I'm wondering if you guys think that could be a way to activate Burks in the first unit, like activate Randle, because him and Randle are pretty solid sometimes, especially last year when he had to start for us a couple of times. He was pretty solid. And maybe Fournier needs to be with an IQ back there, feeling like he's back in Orlando. Just him and IQ and Obi. You know what I mean? Like running some stuff.
That could work too. And I think the one thing about Burks, and like I said, we've been bad defensively. The starters have been bad defensively. I know if we get Burks and replacing Fournier in the starting lineup, automatically, just like that, we become better defensively. And I think that's another key. And also, Burks is not scared. He's not scared of the moment. He's out there playing. That's another guy that kind of just stays to himself and stays in the moment. Doesn't get rattled offensively, defensively. If he starts, I'm all for him starting. I worry about the bench. I worry about Tibbs getting confused with rotations on the bench because there's Evan, There's Obi. I mean, even me personally, I would love to see Quentin Grimes get a little bit of run myself. You know what I mean? Just because I feel like, I just feel like he has the tools to be a really good NBA player. He's very good defensively to me.
Well, you see when Tibbs is pissed off at the Knicks and when we suck, he'll throw him in there like versus the Cavs. Like he was like, you know what? I'm so sick of you guys. No one can defend anyone. Here you go, Grimes. You show me.
Yep. And for what it's worth, Grimes he showed up as far as like the little minutes he had. He's hit big shots. He's been engaged defensively. So, but I don't mind seeing Burks in the starting lineup. Obviously, $77 million on your bench is a tough thing to try to convince people. You know what I mean? But
okay. I didn't think about it that way. That's a good that's a good thought.
It's tough, but that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? So you sign a guy for $77 million, that guy has to start. You know what I mean? He just has to. But and I think that's another reason why Tibbs is just kind of like holding on to the leash a little bit. But if this persists, I mean, he's got to make the move at some point, right? You just have to.
You need to. I mean, it's rough because you said like 70. You have your $75 million man. Although it's really like 3 for 56 because that last year is a team option. Yeah, so it's not as bad. I mean, it's also a good tradable contract. He was making a little bit more. He was making 85 over 4 years previously. Mm-hmm. But I need.
He was beating the Knicks, bro. He was getting some wins for Orlando. He was not doing that
by himself. Him and Terrence Ross.
Terrence Ross, bro. Terrence
Ross is one of my favorite, like, just low-key players in the league. I would love to see him on a contender somewhere, just giving it out because not necessarily he's wasting away in Orlando. I know he's a big part of what they do about their rebuild, but man, like,
I know. I feel like he's on the Nets or on the Lakers or the Suns. That guy is dropping 25 a game.
But the Lakers could really use a guy like that right now because the Lakers are so old. They are. Like none has been hurt the whole year. I know THC just came back.
Yeah. DeAndre Jordan stinks.
This Lakers team feels like when they had Karl Malone and everybody on that team. It's like, come on, guys.
It's worse than that because they don't have Kobe.
Yeah, that team was nasty, bro. There was no injuries. I think they would have actually won that championship.
Or is it more so like when they had Dwight Howard, Steve Nash?
That's a better comparison.
That's a better comparison. Yeah,
that's better. Yeah, definitely. I'll take that comparison better. But I don't know. We'll see.
You think we get this W? I know you want it. You think we get it?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we get it because we've shocked the world so many times the last 2 years as far as these type of games. I think they're going to be coming.
I agree.
Ready to play tomorrow.
Even this year. Last year we started this, but this year too we win the games that we're not supposed to, and we lose the games that we're supposed to. And I just want to touch on one quick thing. You were saying you get really pissed off when the Knicks lose games that you think we're supposed to win. You know, a la the Bulls. For me personally, those games don't bother me. Like losing to the Bulls didn't bother me. The one thing I try and do is sometimes try to think of a game in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. Like if we just lose that Bulls game, it's not a big deal. It's a good game. Yeah. They played team, but like losing to the Cavs with Rubio dropping 45, I can't have that. Yeah, me too. I was there too. I can't have that.
It was a day. I was there a couple days after my birthday too. So I just couldn't believe.
Oh man,
it was just such an awful. I was like Rubio. And then it's like, it just became contagious. It's Evan Mobley, and then Jared Allen was getting dunks, and then Dean Wade was hitting three.
And then it's so funny. So the Sixers was right after that, right? The Sixers game that you went to. I also wanted to go to that game because I also wanted to exercise the demons from the Cavs game. It's so funny. We're literally on the same page. Mm-hmm. So it was like really, really last minute. I'm like still working. And I was like, yo, mom, you want to go to the Knicks Philly game? And she goes, I don't care, but the Knicks suck. I want to only go see Ricky Rubio. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? My mom is talking shit. And
I'm on, Mom.
But I get it. Like, if you saw Ricky Rubio that day, you would think he's Michael Jordan. Isaiah Thomas.
And that's the thing. Like,
that game pisses me off, man. That stuff shouldn't happen.
Never. And the only game, I've watched Ricky Rubio play at nauseum for the last 10 years. Only time I've ever seen him like exceed expectations is when he played against OKC in that playoff when he just was. I don't know what happened.
He was on the Jazz.
He was on the Jazz, and they played OKC. And Russell Westbrook was getting killed by Rubio. Yeah. And then the next game, I guess in the press conference, I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but Russie was in the press conference saying, "I'm not letting that shit happen again." It was like, hold on, Rusty, that's not the reason why you lost. Take it easy. And then he picked up 4 fouls in the first half, checking Rubio. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that.
No, I don't remember.
That was
Russell Westbrook being bad in the playoffs. That's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, of course. But that was the day that I was like, okay, I'm off Russell Westbrook. I'm done. I can't, because you're focused on the wrong things completely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but yeah, like, if we can just beat like the Cavs game, the Indiana, the first game, the Magic twice at the crib, like, oh my God.
I know. Yeah, I know.
I was so pissed the second time around because we just gave them. The thing is that Obi was playing really well that game against the Magic. And then we put Randle back in. I was like, oh, we're about to slow this thing down and lose it. And then it just all unfolded that way.
Get into that, man. Get into that. Like the last kind of rotation, no? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on this whole Obi Randle situation? Like, as you see, it keeps butting its ugly head. It's not going away. So I know we keep talking about it, but it's not going away.
It would be good if, Randle was killing the way he killed last year. I wouldn't have any issue with it. But like, literally, Obi has in about 7 or 8 games this year, Obi's play has gotten us back into the game. Literally, before we were dead. His play on both ends, rebounding. That game against the Cavs, he had a couple of passes to Nerlens Noel, and I was just like, these little dump off, and I was like, this kid is playing well. So I would love to see Obi get some more minutes. It's tough with him on the floor with Randle because, size, and when teams are playing like players like Jared Allen or Miles Turner, it gets a little dicey. You know what I mean? It gets a little tough.
Okay, but here's the thing. Look, can I just let me just pause on that for 1 second. Besides the fact that we don't have centers, like Mitch and Noel are literally hurt now, Taj is hurt. Like, we literally don't have a center, so we're going to be forced to do that. Like, when can we be the small ball team? I don't want to say Warriors because I know they have Steph Curry and stuff, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about their centers. You know what I mean? Like, why can't we make people scared and say, whoa, we can't put out, Miles Turner right now because they got Randle and Obi. Like, we can't run with them. Like, when can we get to, like, am I dreaming? Like, could you guys put me in my place? Like, I don't know.
I just don't think that Obi's entire game is there yet for that type of small ball. Like, he's still, even though he's been, another thing he's been doing, he's been hitting a couple jumpers, hitting a couple three-pointers lately. Like, and maybe if Tibbs brings him in earlier off the bench. Like, I know he likes to wait the second quarter to bring him in. He likes to give Julius the full first 12 minutes. Maybe you bring him in 8-9 minutes in to get him that lather. You know what I mean? Get him going, and then start him in the second quarter to get him going. Because I feel like he's every game, and this is no exaggeration, he's gotten better every single game he's played. You know what I mean?
And he will continue. He's not like RJ. Right, that's the difference between him and RJ. Like, RJ is like, I'm not sure what we need. And Obi's like just more reps, bro. Yeah, seek more reps. You're going to be better. I know for 100% fact.
If we can get Obi, I mean, he played 13 minutes the other night. That's kind of criminal for TV.
I know. Yo, dude, how pissed was he? Did you pay attention? Because it wasn't on TV. I even rewatched the game, but I was sitting right near the bench, so I was staring at Obi when he took him out. Did you happen to notice how mad he was, dude? He was so pissed off when he got subbed out of that game.
Yeah, I mean, because listen, and this is for any basketball player, like particularly like when you're trying to, if you're new to a team and you're finally starting to get it going, and all of a sudden, like, you are literally the reason why we come back, and the crowd is behind you, crowd is screaming Obi, and it's like, yo, Tibbs, leave that kid in, win or lose, you got to go down with him, because if you look at the way Julius was playing that day, it's just like, you got to sit down. You know what I mean? You have to and I just feel like at a certain point, and maybe not, but I feel like at a certain point, Tibbs is gonna have to be like, you know what? We have to get this. We have to find a way to get this kid 20 to 25 minutes a game. Have to.
I love it. Get Obi 25 minutes, Alex. Tattoo that on my head.
I would love to see Obi get 25 minutes a game because he's an impact player. He also brings a lot of energy. There's just guys who bring a lot of energy, and he's just he has so many great aspects about his game. He can be that power forward that brings up the ball and dishes it to somebody in transition. He can be that guy that leaks out, gives you that emphatic dunk that just gets the crowd going, gets the team hype, because those type of things, that type of energy, that gives a team's confidence to like get back in the game. Like, okay, I feel it. Like, when people are starting to chant your name, like, it is what it is. Like, your balls start to get bigger. You start to be like, happening.
That's like me literally playing in the Garden and then cheering my name. Like it's literally from here. And then you take me out. Like, come on, dude. Like, do not take me out of this game.
It's tough, and it frustrates players.
And we lost.
And we lost. And we lost.
Yeah.
And we lost. So I mean, it's a frustrating thing to deal with. And like you said, it could be just too many cooks in the kitchen. Like we run 10 deep. You know what I mean? Like I've never known a Tibbs team to ever run 10 deep. But
we have no centers, man. That's another thing. We keep like skipping that.
Yeah,
and not just us, everybody. We are blaming everybody, and we just refuse to talk about the centers. And man, have you ever seen a Tibbs team without a center? Because I haven't. And this is what happens when you don't have one.
Exactly. Like for what it's worth, I want to shout out to Taj as well. Because Taj has actually been a lifesaver for us as well, no question. I thought Mitch would be better this year as well. I thought Mitch would be better defensively. I thought last year he was coming around. I feel like he was right before he got hurt. He was starting to figure out the game mentally, defensively, as far as like making sure you're on rotations. But this year, I don't know. Like people are just going to the cup and getting layups because everybody's missing rotations and stuff like that. I expected more from Mitch this year. Nerlens was really good last year. I mean, he was good, very good last year. He was also really good last night. But Tibbs didn't put him back in the game. When I thought we desperately were going to need a rebound or a block shot. And right on cue, Zach LaVine got that pass, went right to the cup, got a layup, and kind of put the game away for us. It was just like, it's tough, man. A lot of cooks in the kitchen. A lot of.
You have answers? You have answers for us? How do we fix this?
I wish I could, but if I could fix it, I'd probably be somewhere sitting next to Tibbs on the bench as opposed to in my living room right now.
Or next to Alex. Alex, how do we fix this, man?
Oh, brother. If I knew how to fix this, I'd be out in the front office with Leon Rose and World Wide West. But no, I think the thing, like, I'm going to actually push back a little bit on Mitch because I think he's been playing pretty well. I think the thing for him is that he's still trying to get used to that frame of his. He's now he's dropped down 10 pounds. He's 270. We're talking about a kid who was like 240, lanky, as like he was so lanky, so skinny last year, and he was just a high flyer, able to run up and down the court. He talked about in his most recent press conference is that his mind is moving a lot faster than his actual body. And you could see that where he's trying to make those moves. And I think, and he also talks about having to get better balance so he's not falling all the time. It's like working on that as well. So I'm going to give Mitch a little bit more time. And I think he's still been doing a good well because when you look at the numbers, like through advanced stats, the Knicks are still like a really good team protecting the rim. Like we're in like the bot, like we're
just not on rebounds, bro. We fell so.
No,
so
we're
much
we're 11th in rebounds right now, but like protecting the rim wise, like we're the close to the bottom and teams like trying to actually attack us. Like no one wants to attack me at the rim. Like I think it's like a 28% frequency. That's what it is. So and there are other teams who are like in the 30s, close to 40s. So we're fine with that. Like he will adjust a shot. He's not as mobile like in the pick and roll as he was last season. But I think as he gets to weight, continues to lose the weight, I think he'll be better. It's just rough to see him coming out because it's so funny because like I feel like he's missed more games, but he really hasn't. This is only his second game that he's missed this entire season. He just keeps getting hurt throughout the entire freaking game.
And it's every game it's something. It falls on his hip or he blows through. He's been blowing through sneakers like
I know.
3 sneakers.
It's crazy.
Yo, they're talking about the sole that they give him, the insole they gave him for his broken foot. Like apparently none of the sneakers can happen. It just keeps shredding right through. That's why it keeps busting.
I mean, you got to call Nike or something.
I'm about to say, dude, if they could keep Zion's foot in the shoe, come on.
I mean, at least they've been keeping his foot in for now because it's not playing. But you know, we'll see.
Oh, shots fired! Pew, pew, pew.
I mean, look, I keep looking. I'm a Zion guy, but first of all, he's got to drop pounds, and he hasn't been on the court.
Woo, dropping pounds is an understatement.
Man, I mean, I was trying to keep it, you know,
Booger McZion. We know.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah,
dude. I mean, you can't when you look at both this year's like team photo shoot and then last year's team photo shoot, you just see the definition. You're like, bro, like, come on now. Like, you're a professional athlete. I get that you're in the Big Easy, but relax. Like, you don't need to
good down there. A lot of etouffee and beignets. He's been killing down there.
Hey man, Cafe Du Monde is freaking delicious. I was down there for Mardi Gras, man. Me and my boys would get one we would stop at that place in the morning, and then after drinking, we go back and get some more at night. That place is it's too addictive.
Fair.
Too addictive. But let's get into this upcoming schedule, man, because as we talked about, man, it's not easy. It is not easy coming up. We already discussed the Lakers game. Yeah,
literally playing the best teams in the league.
Yeah. You think we're gonna get this win? I'm in agreement with you. I think we're gonna get this win too. I think we always like to show up like we showed up last night against the Chicago Bulls, even though not everyone did. Julius did. We were still in that game. I feel like if we had either RJ or Evan hitting his shots, or even just had some rim protection for Mitch and Noel, just having both those guys, I feel like we're talking about a different game instead of just giving open blow-by drives to the rack. But the next one, man. Well, John, what do you think? Do you think we get this win actually with the Lakers?
I agree with you guys. It's a big game for us. I mean, on my gambling brain, my dumb gambling brain says LeBron's not out. You got to take the Lakers, right, with the spread. But I think because they're going to get up and they're going to be hyped. You saw how motivated and hyped they were after that third quarter, scuffle. They were sucking against the Detroit Pistons. They were going to lose that game if it wasn't for that energy burst. So we're not really sure what we're going to get for the Lakers, but I'm just gonna trust the Knicks. I'm just gonna hold my boys. I think we could actually win this one. Anthony Davis, if he's on, he's gonna murder us. We cannot guard centers, especially centers like him. So if he goes off, he's gonna give us an issue. But I'll take a Knicks win because I don't think there's any chance we win the next game, man. I don't think there's any chance we win on Friday.
The Suns are an outstanding basketball.
Yeah,
they are literally an outstanding basketball team. When you watch them play offensive basketball, it's pass, and then Chris Paul. That guy is, as far as players that move the needle, who you could just drop on any team and it's like, okay, we're gonna win 45 games just because we have him. Chris Paul's got to be mentioned in that class. He everywhere he's been, he has won. This team with him, Booker, Ayton, Bridges has been good. Cam Johnson has been good. They just have a lot of Crowder, who I've never loved, but he's playing really, really well. They just have a lot of guys that are just tied in offensively. You know what I mean? The rhythm is there. They get rid of the ball quickly and they get open shots all the time. So that's going to be a tough game. I don't see us winning that game at all.
Yeah. Dude. Monty Williams is going to kill us, dude.
I agree. I feel like they are the true definition. And it's funny because they're the old school definition because everyone's like, oh, positionless basketball. Like everyone's like the same height, like 6'6" or taller. They are like the true, stereotypical basketball team. Like your point guard is 6 feet tall. Your shooting guard is 6'4" to 6'6". Your small forward is 6'6" to 6'7", 6'8". And then your power forward, your center, they're all so traditional in that aspect. And they play like a true traditional basketball team. It's honestly artwork watching those guys play. They're just,
even gorgeous. McGee off the bench, he's been so good for them. You know what I'm saying? Just rim protecting and rebounding the ball, and he's also pretty good offensively, like dribble handoffs. He's a rim runner. Yeah. He's been very good for them. So I see us not even. That's probably a loss by 10 plus. Honestly, just matchup.
Yeah, I mean, also a home game after Thanksgiving. Let's not underestimate that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna fly in. It's just different, man.
Yeah.
I just don't trust the Knicks, especially because we always talk about Alex. It's mushed right in between big games. I feel like we care more about the Lakers right now because Melo, and of course we need the W. And then we're going to be staring at that Hawks game the day after the Suns. So we have a back-to-back Friday and Saturday, and it's the Hawks, dude. We're going to be traveling to Atlanta, and don't tell me that this game is just a one regular season game to these guys. Do not tell me that.
It is not. They've
been thinking about this for months. And so
I know Julius has been thinking about it for forever. Since game 5 last year, he probably had Atlanta on his mind the entire time. Listen, if we're keeping it tall, Julius was absolutely dreadful in that series, whole series, all 5. My Chicago Bulls group chat that I'm in, they let me have it every chance they get about the series. Every chance they get. So I hope when we get to that game, I hope Julius is chomping at the bit and ready to go because he's got a lot to prove to that team. I'm not even concerned about Trey. Trey's going to get whatever he gets, but
he hasn't been good this year without the fouls, man.
See that yes, but I feel like he's going to adjust very soon. He actually, I mean, they won the other night.
Yeah, he's coming back. You're right.
Yeah, and another thing is that about that team is that the thing that really bothered us last year is that they had all athletic guys that just match up very well. It was Herders, it was Hunter, it was.
They're not playing the same though, man. They're not playing the same.
They're not. It's early though, but you know Trey's going to be up for this game as well too. So we'll see what happens.
Is this a W, Alex?
Sure.
What do you think? Is W too? You guys both got this W.
Man.
Atlanta's tough
On a back-to-back, second of a
In
back-to-back.
Atlanta.
back-to-back. So the reason why I'll give the Knicks the win is because just looking at the rest of the schedule. I said they were going to go 3-3.
I know. I feel you.
So I have to give them this win because the rest of the games on that schedule, Brooklyn, Denver, I don't see those happening at all. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm gonna give them the win. Like I said, second night of a back-to-back. As long as they're not in the strip club in Atlanta when they get down there.
They're not gonna have time. Well, we always joke around about it, right? When it's on a back-to-back and you're on a travel day, like they have stuff, they travel, they got to go find a gym, they got to shoot. Like they don't even have time.
Yeah. Which is good because I've been to Atlanta. Been to strip clubs in Atlanta. They are everything as advertised. I'll tell you that. I'm not by no means a baller, but you can have a ball in there for cheap. So I know those guys, you know.
All right. So you heard it here first. Yeah, so stay out the strip club to get this W. We're on a professional business trip. Alex, we getting that W?
I'm going to say that we're going to get that W. I think it's going to be an ugly W by both teams. But it's going to be an ugly game by both teams. But I think we're going to squeeze out this W. I think Randle I think just to get the whatever, like, just like that old stench of last season off. Like you talked about, John, how they need to like win, like get out their demons against the Celtics from like last season, like the bad juju, whatever. This one is another game like that because they haven't been playing so great right now. This is a very tough week. But if they lose to the Hawks, man, the headlines, the tabloids, everything. I can only imagine the New York Post dumb, like corny Knicks loss.
Don't think about Berman, man. Don't let Berman live rent free in your head.
Stand that guy. Hate that guy. Oh, Berman is tough. He's tough. I follow him on Twitter just strictly for information because you know he got breaking news and he's always the guy with the updates. But Berman.
His articles are tough.
Tough, very tough.
Well, he's gonna get out of this here, especially. I mean, the tabloids are running themselves, guys, because after the Hawks, like you guys said, we come back, we're in Brooklyn versus the Nets. Knicks gonna lose to the Nets after losing to the Hawks. Like it's gonna be a slippery slope.
And the Chicago game at home I'm actually confident in it. I think that game will win.
Okay, so you like that? I'm gonna be at that Bulls game, so they better win that game, right? I can't be at another.
I may be there too, so I'll link you up. But
what about this Nets loss though? Is that a Nets loss?
It's a loss.
Okay.
I want to say this. I don't think there's been a person in life that has made anything look as easy as Kevin Durant makes basketball look.
Oh yeah,
I agree 100%. He's the best basketball player by far.
It makes no sense how easy the game comes for that guy, and we don't have anything for him. I think Brooklyn has a very good team. I think James Harden just rounding into shape. He's getting himself in shape. He's playing himself into shape. Patty Mills has been very good for them as well.
Patty Mills is going to kill us. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. So, you know, I and listen, they played well against Brooklyn last year. No question. They played, even with the losses. I want to say,
That's true.
Did we split with them, or I think we might have maybe won out of 4 against them. But
yeah,
all the games were very good, and we competed. And obviously, there's the whole Brooklyn and New York thing. You know, we take a little bit of pride in that when we walk into that building trying to play against a couple Hall of Famers as well. So I'm hopeful that we play well. I'm not banking on us winning that game at all. No way.
I want the cover though. I want the cover in this game. Like we're gonna be like 6-7 point underdogs. Like I think the Knicks are keep it close.
Yeah. I'm definitely betting that day.
Yeah. No question. I think I'm gonna take the Knicks to cover that spread as well. But I don't think they're gonna win. I think at this point, sitting here on Tuesday, we'll be 2-2.
I think I like that. I think they will be 2-2 by that point too. But last season with Brooklyn, the only thing I'll say about those games is that they weren't fully healthy, and they're not necessarily fully healthy right now because they still don't have Kyrie on that team. But we didn't face them. I believe we didn't face them with James Harden last year, or did we do it once? One of
the games they played with me didn't have James Harden. I believe it was. I think it was. I'm not sure. We played them the first game. I remember we actually came back and had a chance to win the game at the end. And it was James Harden's fault. Actually, he turned the ball over a couple times early.
Was that Randle tip controversy?
No, that was Kyrie. That was Kyrie and KD. First game we played them was just straight up Kevin Durant because they made the trade that day, that week, and it was like, okay, James Harden can't play yet. I remember the Kyrie one because I was like, yo, Randall's staying in front of Kyrie. What is going on here?
Crazy. And listen, that's another thing about last year's Julius that made him all NBA. It was the engagement every single possession. Julius literally pressed all the right buttons last year in the regular season.
Yes.
Every pass he made was the correct pass. Every shot he took was a good shot. He didn't. I don't remember him even missing a rotational defense last year. Honestly, he played a really, really, really well. I remember like 30 games in, I was, the Knicks weren't on anybody's radar. But I remember I was telling my group chat like, yo, I can't lie, Julius been killing. They were like, what? And I'm like, I can't lie, Julius has been killing, not like playing well, killing. You know what I'm saying? So,
it felt really good to be validated as a Knicks fan last year, man. Especially going into the year, I was like, yo, Julius, right? Because he's all we have. So I have to say that. And then all of a sudden he was like literally like one of the best players in the NBA. And everyone just had to be quiet. Like his numbers were there, the wins were there, the awards were there.
I told you already, last year was easily as an adult the greatest year as a Knicks fan I've had as an adult. Mm-hmm. No question about it. I told people, even going into the playoffs, I wasn't confident in being Atlanta anyway, even though we played way more awful than I thought we would. But going into the playoffs, I told everybody, I said, nobody can steal my joy this year from the way we played. Not one person, because it was just everybody together. I saw the
hand up. Trae Young stole my joy after game one. He snatched it from my heart and just said, "This is mine."
That's fair. And all things being honest here, for me, Trae Young is my kind of player. He is my kind of like basketball player for me. Like just the whole showmanship, just getting to the cup and just dogging. I love. Now I don't like seeing him killing the Garden. Obviously, I have my ties to, the
blue and orange skies, baby.
But he is my type of player, and I gained a lot of respect for Trae Young last year, even though I already had the respect for him anyway. But
he Reggie'd it up, man.
I think what makes it worse. I think what makes it worse with Trae is that he was rumored heavily to the New York Knicks, that draft. You're like, all right, so he's going to drop. We're going to get him instead of Kevin Knox at what was it, 8, 9, whatever it was, and it's like we're going to be. He's supposedly the next Steph Curry, and then it's like, oh no, the Mavs are taking. What's going on? Who? What?
I was so
every good point guard, man. Steph, Luka, Trae, everybody's gonna come to the Knicks until they kill it somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's all because we have these mid-level lottery picks. Always like 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Like, even the year we, and this is not no slight at RJ, but the fact that we got 3 in a year, we could have got 2 and could have got John Moran is just like, oh my God.
It would have been way different squad, man.
Super different. Different.
Absolutely.
What do you got in this Knicks Bulls, Alex? You think we're gonna win this Bulls game?
Yes, I think we're
gonna be 500. By the way, I'm gonna tell you guys why nothing we just said is gonna happen, because we all are on the same page. There's no way we're gonna be right about all 5 of these games right now.
Yeah.
So probably the opposite. I would bet the opposite of all of them.
However it all works out, just give me 3-3. Just give me
3-2.
Is it 5 games or 6 games? Maybe I'm thinking about the.
You want the Nuggets game too? You want to throw in the Nuggets? You think we're gonna lose the Nuggets?
No. I'm just
dude, Nuggets with no MPJ stink. Get out of here. I'm not scared of the Nuggets anymore. No Michael Porter Jr. I'm not scared of them. They're good. I'm just not scared.
Is it confirmed he's out for the year?
He's not. He's definitely gonna be out for this game, but we don't know how long he's gonna be out. Nerve damage in the back.
Tough. And listen, and now let me ask you.
Can't even walk. Forget play basketball. He can't lift stuff.
not to go off tangent, and it seems like we drafted Kevin Knox that year over Michael because of the back issues, and I keep trying to explain to people that the Knicks could not have afforded to pick
that storyline
MPJ,
yeah,
not play 1 year, and then come back and not know we don't even know what he is now. Looking at it now, he's got that big ass contract, and now he's got nerve damage in his back again. It's just like, ooh, this is nasty. So I'm kind of glad we stayed away from that. Hindsight being 2020, of course, but man,
I'm glad we have Knox on
no
playing time and no money rather than Michael Porter. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, there's no way the New York Knicks could have taken a risk on the Nuggets. Are the perfect team to take a risk on Michael Porter Jr. They had Jamal Murray. They had Jokic. They had Gary Harris at that time. They had all these other
Jeremy Grant. They had players. They had Burton. Yeah. Will Barton rather. They had guys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really glad we didn't take the bait on that, because man, I can't even imagine what we're going on right now in this
dude. Season. And the thing is, for 14, it's 14, that's a great draft value for the Nuggets. He can just hang out in the wing, develop, take your time to get healthy. These teams will still be good with or without him. The Knicks are we need guys right now that can play. Can you play?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, can't play. Cool. The headlines would just be going galore. It's like New York Knicks banking on a guy to play X amount of years from now.
You just hurt my heart with that one. You just hurt my heart with that.
That's what it would have been. That's what it would have been. That's the difference. I'd rather just have nobody. Just give me nobody rather than having this burden.
Trade the pick at that point.
True. Definitely.
But yeah, man, we got to get into this before we let you get out of here. We got to talk about your music, man. All right, because
get into it.
You've been in ESPN. You've dropped albums. I want to start off with ESPN because we did read the article, which was done recently about you at ESPN and how you got started in your career, your creativity and your writing music. So I want you to elaborate into it, because the piece itself gives a good, it's like an appetizer to getting to know who you are. So let's talk about this, man. How did you start getting to write into music? What I know in the article you say you love hip hop, you love the history of hip hop, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang Clan, all those guys, but what really drove you to start writing music?
Man, I don't know. So when I when you're in high school, you're just having fun with your friends. You know what I mean? I went to a boarding school outside of Philadelphia with a whole bunch of guys from DC, Philly and New York and Virginia and Chicago. So, hip hop was obviously the 90s. It was the biggest thing in the world to us. You know what I mean? Those rappers were like superheroes to us. And, we always used to have a little fun, whatever the case may be. And at that time, I think I was a junior or senior in high school. We were one of the first schools in the area that where the school gave us all laptops. So it was we found a little recording system on there, to be sending each other verses, little things here and there. And never really took it serious, but all my friends was like, yo, you kind of nice. And I was like, whatever, cool. You know what I mean? I'm African. My parents are Ghanaian. So rap music was the furthest thing from my mind as far as obviously a dream. But as far as trying to go convince my parents that I wanted to rap, it was whatever. Don't be stupid.
I'm good on school, ma.
Yeah, I'm good on it would look like I was crazy. So I went to Oswego State University, SUNY Oswego. That was in the year 2000. And one of my homies was, they had a radio show, and it was every Thursday, 8 to 10, and then at 9:15, 9:30, he would let guys come up there and freestyle. And I had no intention of even getting to that, but then when I was listening to the guys for 2 or 3 weeks, and I was just I think I could put something together that might be, pretty substantial. I thought I could put something together that might, move the needle, raise some eyebrows, whatever the case may be. And I always tell people the story. I had a line, the line I had in that first verse. I went to the radio station. I was hyped, wrote my verse, whatever the case may be. And, I was just, even when I think back to how elementary I sounded back then, it just really kind of makes me cringe a little bit. But the line I had in there that kind of just took everybody by surprise, it was, I said something I think it was I stay on my toes like a midget at a urinal. And back then, that's whoa, like I'm like
on the radio, live. You
like
did that live on the radio?
Live on the radio, live freestyle.
Let's go.
Yeah, live freestyle on the radio. I mean, obviously it wasn't freestyle, but it's like, you write.
Yeah.
I write my verses, memorize them, or had it on paper or whatever, and go up there and spit. And it kind of was like, it's spun into this thing. It was just like, yo, that was dope. And it was like, yo, come back through next week, write another verse, or another verse. And it was kind of dope. And it was just like, and I remember like, just accumulating verses, accumulating writing. I remember the next summer I came in and I was spitting from one of my best friends to this day. I was just in his wedding a couple months ago. And he looks at me, he's like, yo, you get nice. And that was always the thing for me. You know what I'm saying? It was always like, because the thing of rappers, and no matter who you speak to, we all do this at the time we started. It's all about our friends. We all make up music for our friends. We all trying to like impress our friends and things of that nature. So when he said that to me, I just never forgot it. I was just like, okay, just try to keep honing your pen, right? So through college, did a couple shows and was rapping all the time and trying to put out little songs here and there, whatever the case may be. And then I got a job at ESPN. They called me right out of. First of all, I thought people were joking with me. I thought people were.
Yeah.
I'm it's about 3 weeks before graduation. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to be doing after college.
Yeah, what I got to tell my mom after I get this degree.
Like what am I about to do with this broadcast and mass media degree? And I'm in the computer lab, and I get an email from some lady at ESPN. Hey, want to bring you in for a phone interview? And I'm looking around the computer lab like, yo,
who's making this call?
Where's the YouTube at?
Who's messing with me right now? Because I don't have the time. Like, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Like, I'm 21, 22, trying to figure out, like, yo, my next step in life, I don't know what's about to happen. Like, don't play around with me. Call the number, it ended up being legit. So I had a phone interview. Then back then, this is going to sound crazy. They flew me in for the interview from Oswego to Bristol. And I was like, they're flying me in? Am I this important? You really weren't, but they just had the budget to do so. So
That's sick. I'd be hyped.
So
if ESPN fly me in for an interview that I even asked for,
bro,
I'm going. No,
I'd be going crazy too. You should be hyped as hell.
My boys were like, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, this is happening. It's happening. You know what I mean? Because at that point, for any kid, like ESPN is a dream job for anybody.
Yeah, for sure. That's all I watch.
Yeah, and getting right out of college, it's like out of graduation, got a job. So automatically, once I got the gig, I was like, okay, I wasn't even thinking about rap anymore. I was like, okay, like, because who wins like that? Who lands a job right out of college at ESPN? It's just like, I'm ready to go. So I get to ESPN, and I'm starting to realize probably after about a year that, like, okay, this corporate thing isn't what I really thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? And dealing with a
lot of paperwork, huh?
Paperwork and
yeah,
like stapling and just I was like, damn, all the making copies and so on and so forth. And it was getting frustrating. And
you're like, I thought I was supposed to anchor Sports Center, bro.
I mean, I thought I was going to be somewhere doing something. Yeah. I thought I had the charisma. I thought I had all that. And then you get in there and you realize, let me just, not to go off tangent, but
yeah,
I knew I loved basketball. I thought I loved sports until I worked at ESPN. You think you love sports until you work in a place like that and you really see people who love sports. I love basketball.
Yeah.
I like football a lot and I like baseball, but I don't love sports the way people love sports in there. You know what I mean? It's a different level. And I started to realize that. But, with all the stresses and things that were going on at that point, I kind of just picked the pen back up. This is like a way to kind of just like another outlet, kind of just to, just to get out of the space of all the stressful shit that was going on at the job. And writing again, started recording. MySpace was out at the time. I started posting some freestyles on MySpace. And words started to get around that, oh, hold on, yo, this kid Yaw works here, he's a rapper. And it was just like, oh my God, it's still a little jarring. You know what I mean?
So you got a rapper in Bristol.
Yeah, like a rapper. and nobody was taking this seriously until they were hearing the bar work on MySpace. It was like, okay, this is kind of serious. So started putting some more music out just on MySpace, and then I put a mixtape out called Entry Level, which I re-released recently this past year. and
That's on Spotify, Apple Music,
Spotify,
Apple there.
Music,
Yep.
Tidal, all of that.
Yep.
And then word got around that I'd put out a mixtape, and I sent. I'm not sure if you guys remember Inner Office Mail.
Yep.
Okay. So right prior to this, I had literally just like Scott Van Pelt just started having random conversation with me in the calf, just like about basketball, about just random stuff. And he didn't ask my name or anything. We were sitting there talking one day, and he just started talking to us about hoops and just like having like a real live dialogue.
Let's talk about Maryland.
He didn't mention Maryland that day. No, that's his thing. He's a Terp to death. So, so I actually sent him. I was like, "Yo, send him an inner office mail and with the CD." And I sent him an email like, "Yo, I know you love hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I know so on and so forth." I was like, you might want to check this out. And he sent me an email back like 2 days later. He's like, "Dude, I love this. This is incredible to me." And that's kind of like that kind of gave me like, okay, I can actually do this. Album comes out, and we all have these dreams about our first project coming out, and it just kind of just taken off, and it didn't.
Right from ESPN, right from ESPN to the Grammys.
Yeah, and I was in a little bit of a lull, trying to figure out what my next move was. I was actually getting ready to apply for grad school. I was looking at to get ready to take the GMAT, trying to get into B school. And I was in the edit room. At that point, I was working in edits, editing Sports Center and all the studio shows that they do. And one of the APs, associate producers, walked in my edit room and was like, "Yo, you ever thought about doing a spoken word piece?" And I'd never done one before, but I just thought it couldn't be that much different from rap, right? So it was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. He was like, "I'm thinking about trying to put something together for NFL season," and this is 2012. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do one, whatever the case may be, whatever, cool." And I did it. And it took off. Everybody loved it. It was like people would have, I would say this, but people that had never even like knew who I was just were like stopping me in the calf and stopping me in,
Let's go.
The makeup lady who does all, she was a gorgeous lady. And all of a sudden just stopped me and was having a conversation where I was like, "Okay, you're drop dead gorgeous. I don't even know what to say to you."
You know me.
I was like, from that, it kind of I just developed a rapport with people. And that's when I kind of got my start as far as doing like the whole sports poetry / sports music type deal. That was 2012. I ended up getting laid off from ESPN the following year. Long story. We can get into that offline if y'all want.
Yeah.
But after that, it took a little while, but I started, getting some momentum, and I just kept writing. And I was doing songs regularly for albums, and I would just like write little sports vignettes here, sports poems, and it started to finally pick up. Probably 2016, I started doing stuff for Bleacher Report and TNT, and still doing stuff for ESPN on the side, and then just developing these relationships.
Is remote, or are you on these campuses?
Remote.
Oh, okay. But you were on the Bristol campus. That was the only one.
I was.
Yeah, that's so cool.
They call us. We call ourselves ex-cons now because we all live in Connecticut, and we all have moved on.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's just sit there for 1 second. Let me just sit there for 1 second.
Okay.
You gave a lot of stories about ESPN, right? But is there anyone who like you maybe had like some sort of idol or something, and then you met him, or you were around him, and you're like, "Oh, this is just a dude." Or opposite, right? Or opposite. You're like, "Oh, I thought just some dude," but you like this is like the hardest worker. Like, who took you by surprise at ESPN?
Man, there's so many people, good and bad, honestly. Rest in peace of Stuart Scott. But the first time I ever tried to say hello to Stuart Scott, he kind of just walked right past me, and I was just like, "This dude's my fucking idol." Like, how?
Never meet your heroes.
You're a dick. Like, get out of here. And so from then on, I was just like, okay. But then like literally like 4 months later, I was having a rough day at work. Had to go back and forth to the tape library trying to find tapes from 5 years ago, waiting for the elevator. And it opens up, and I'm like, it's Stuart Scott. And I'm just like, oh God, here we go. Like, so we get in the elevator, and he just starts having a conversation with me. And I was just like a real live, like, "Hey, how you doing? Where you from?" So on and so forth. And I was like, okay, this is way different from the first time I tried to say hello to you. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, yeah. So, I mean, at that point, after that, he always said hello, always was cool with me, always like, was very cordial after that. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
That's dope.
Yeah, definitely. I can't, I'm trying to think about some awful experiences I've had, but I can
Oh,
tell
you
you.
don't have to find out that. We don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have
I
to air that out.
I just kind of want to know, like, someone.
Okay, listen, I'm an open book, as they say. So you know what I'm saying. Like
the Scott Van Pelt talking to you about lunch, like
yeah.
I mean, Stuart Scott in the elevator.
Yeah,
like,
Jay Harris is really cool. Me and Jay Harris played ball together. I'm not sure you guys remember Steve Bunin from back in the day. He's a really good dude. Steve Levy was good. I
heard a lot about Steve Levy.
Yeah,
he's like that dude. Huh?
There's a lot. He's a good dude, but there's a lot that goes on with Steve Levy, obviously.
We heard a lot about Steve Levy.
A lot of things that go on with Steve Levy that I will leave for offline talk. But always cordial. Linda Cohn was always cordial with me as well. Mike Hill is one of my guys. We still keep in contact to this day. I actually interviewed him on one of my little podcasts on IG. So nice. I developed a lot of good relationships with a lot of people up there.
Sorry to cut you off. I know you're going. I just had to ask you a little bit more about Bristol. But yeah, so you're dropping you're the man on ESPN. You get off there. You have your music albums, but now you're back on your sports, right? Yeah. You're with Bleacher Report. You're with TNT.
Yeah. So recently, I mean, the last few years have been really good. Particularly this past year, it was just like I did a lot at ESPN last year. The last 2 years, ESPN, The Undefeated, and I and my man A-List, we do with theme music. We've developed a conglomerate, so to speak, where we develop sports content for a lot of networks. So for ESPN, we did the last 2 years we've done Black History Month, a series of Black History Month pieces on. I know this past year was Black Coaches. I think the first year was like just Black philanthropy. So we've done that. We've done things with Big Ten Network. I've done some things with CBS Network, CBS Sports Network. We've done a lot. We got a lot of content out there. And then, we also just put, it kind of just spun its own way because last year I think it was during the pandemic, during the bubble, like 2020, we had a piece set for John Morant to come out for just because we wanted to start putting out some content. And that's kind of the thing that kind of went viral. That was the first thing that ever went viral for us. It was the day they announced that we dropped the piece. We already had it ready on deck, the video, the visual, and the audio. And it went super viral. I had an interview with Memphis morning show the next day. It went kind of crazy. So that's kind of like it kind of ignited a flame enough as far as, what we could do, as far as where we could take it. We have a lot of more content coming out. We've done, like I said, Bleacher Report, Fox.
What do you got coming out?
We have some things coming out. Hopefully, with a piece called For Fear God. Hopefully, we're trying to get into that space of sports and merch.
And shoes.
Yes, it's things of that nature. So we got some.
All right.
We've signed. We've been in talks with them. We've been in talks with some other folks as well. But we did an NBA piece. We're gonna do working on the 75th anniversary piece for All Star as well. So hopefully it'll be dropping soon, right before the All-Star break. So we're looking to drop that, and we're just trying to keep pushing this sports content out, and we feel like since we've come out with this type of stuff, there's been a slew of this type of content from other people on this in this kind of wave. So it's kind of like we've been pioneers, so to speak, of this kind of like space, and we just want to keep it going and just kind of like push the envelope a little more and see how far we can take it.
So you're doing this with like ESPN, CBS, where it's a mixture of like hip hop and spoken word that you're doing, right? Yeah. It's not just because I really like when I remember the Journey pieces that you did for ESPN and for the NFL season. And when I went back, when we started following each other on Twitter, I went back, I started listening to your music. I was like, wait a minute. I remember this. I love it because it got me so hyped. Every single, it was like for the parts throughout all the entire season, I'm like, all right, I'm locked back in for football. I just had to watch that, locked back into football. It was just great. The spoken word is just so beautiful. It was like, it's such like a work of art. And if anyone doesn't know, like just go watch the Journey stuff for ESPN. It's just absolutely well done.
That was on Sunday NFL Countdown, which was at that time was their most highly rated show. Friend of mine, Terrell Boozer, like I said, that was the same thing I just mentioned about earlier, but he walked into my edit room and wanted to do it, and ended up spinning itself into an entire season of these pieces. So since then I kind of just like figured myself out, figured out my lane, figured out how to make it how to make some monetary value out of it as well. You know what I mean? That was also key. you get to a point where it's like, okay, how long am I gonna be doing this stuff for free? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
how many more favors am I going to give out? And that was the point where it kind of just clicked and changed. So I'm really, really thankful for that opportunity. And we're going to keep this thing going as long as possible.
Now you also have albums too. So like, when do you have time to like work on the albums? Because I know you have 4 albums, right? You have Entry Level, which I love. 9 to 5ers is one of my favorite ones. Like I listen to that one. I'm like, all right, I jive with this. And then there's one that's just like a really feel good song. It's the Feel Right. It is, which is like, it truly is like a feel. Like I put that thing in my car all the time. I'm just like bumping
right.
to it. And it's like, I feel right after I listen to the damn song. It is like, it is so good, man. Like your music, I don't know who, because I want to like, who inspired your artistic flow for your albums, man? Because it's reminiscent of something. It's like I can, who are like good. You have to give me some time to like think about it.
Let me just say this: Big is my number one inspiration behind rap. I listen to Big ad nauseum. To this day, I study what Big does on records because there's a lot of people. If you're not, and I feel like if you don't study it, you wouldn't know. But there's a lot of things that Big does on record, with his flow and his cadence and the way he delivers his bars that still to this day nobody can really duplicate. So I study that a lot. Also, being in the Philadelphia area, you can't escape not being around Black Thought. You can't escape not being around Beanie Siegel. You can't escape the Freeway. That whole Cassidy. It was just like that whole influence. Philadelphia rap was really huge influence in the way I rap still to this day. But like I'm from that era, from the 90s, early 2000s, where it was like you had to deliver bars. I mean, Jadakiss is also one of my favorite rappers. I love the Locks. I actually adore the Locks. So those are the guys that I really pointed to when I was like trying to. I always thought to myself, like when I write rhymes, I always think about, what would Kiss think about this? You know what I mean? Or what would Big think about this rhyme? What would these guys think about these verses when they hear them? But that's kind of the thing that kind of was pushing me, pushing my pen, because I really, as an artist, and this is whatever art you're in, I'm a true believer in, we don't really do it for the consumer. We do it for our peers and our contemporaries, right? We want the respect of our people. You know what I mean? People who share the same space, who are in the same lane as you. That means more to me than, and not necessarily more. Maybe it does mean more than the random fan like, I love your music, or I love your song, or like when your contemporaries hit you up and you're like, you delivered right there. That's the most gratifying thing for
your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah, I mean, people have called me that all the time. So you know what I mean? It's a nice little moniker to have. So definitely,
I love
that's
that.
fun. And then you put out Hump Day, right? You put You're All Welcome. Yeah. And then you're Back in the Basement, and like Back in the Basement came out recently, right? That was like that was 2020.
That was October of last year, October 27th of last year. Back to the Basement is, I had to get back to. So if you listen to my projects,
I was about to ask, because it seems like there is like a whole theme with like every single album, like that's that part of your life that you're actually going through.
Yeah, I'm a conceptual rapper. Like I feel like Hump Day is very conceptual in the fact that I was talking about relationships between men and women. Like that was the whole premise of the album. Entry Level was the point of my life where I was working. I was trying to figure out my way through corporate America. You're All Welcome happened at a time when I was like, when I moved to New York City and was trying to figure out who I was as an artist at that time. I was a little older. I was trying to refine myself and make a really, really, really dope, like classic type project. Back to the Basement happened because a friend of mine, my man Jamar, we were in the car one day, came to visit me. We just finished shooting a video for Stoop Weather that was on You're All Welcome. And he's playing me my old freestyles. And he's like, yo, you got to get back to this. You have to get back. This is how I know, this is what I know you from. This is where I know you from. Like the essence of just going in the booth and just delivering just like rapid fire bars and like, with metaphors and similes and just like really clever bars, but like no real concept behind them. Just go on and spit. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you listen to Back to the Basement, there's not that many hooks. You're not going to hear a lot of choruses. You're going to hear a lot of just like real live
written word.
You know what I mean? Yep. And I personally think I delivered on that project. I think my favorite project I think Back to the Basement is my most important project, and I think You're All Welcome is my most complete, top to bottom.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have like a without your competition? So I won't even say modern because that's like technically. Let's say, do you have like a favorite album that is your go-to that you just like always play no matter what? I know there's many, right? I know I have 1,000 too.
Many.
But I'm just like, what's your like? You're like today. Today is like a cloudy, crappy day. Like, what album are you just throwing on in the back just to like let roll while you do your work?
I'd probably play like, I'd probably play Jay-Z American Gangster.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm about to say if you pick my album because I was, today was just like a crappy day, just getting work done. I had the Blueprint going the whole day.
Blueprint's one of my favorite albums of all time. Also in that class is I love Nas. I love Nas's newest album, KD2.
So good, so underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
because it's new.
It's because it's new. It's a very new album. Very, very good album. Another album that I just love to just put on when I'm just working, as far as a rap album I just put on, is I love Freeways, Philadelphia Freeway. It's an album I just really ride out to and just kind of get in my zone. If I need inspiration, I might go to like a guy like Lupe. I might go to an old Kanye album. I might go to like a College Dropout or a Late Registration. There's so much.
Yeah, I know. It's a loaded question, but that's why I just wanted to ask you today. Like today was such a mood. It was such a New York fall day.
Today was definitely like a Jay-Z American Gangster day for me.
Yeah. Alex, what about you, man? What's today's album? I know you got some stuff done around the house today, a little production. You've been productive a little bit. What do you got rolling in the back?
What's album would I have?
Besides the Yaw Geez, of course.
Of course.
Not
gonna lie, I do play your album pretty frequently. Like,
and I play our producer Raisi all the time, instrumental. I play all the time too. So not to plug, but I'm being honest.
I feel like 9 to 5 is like really hitting my life right now, like where I am. So it's like that I have that one on like on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
But so he's not lying that I do listen to it. Back to the Basement is also really good. So I am rocking that one. I have to work on You're All Welcome because I need to tap into that one. But for today, if I had to choose an album for myself, I'm gonna go with Little Brother, The Minstrel Show. That is like
one of my top 10 albums of all.
And honestly, that is where I was gonna say your flow kind of reminds me of those guys. Fonte, exactly.
It is a huge that album is a huge influence in my like musical structure in my MCing. Like,
let's go.
Undeniably, I honestly, if today is a perfect day to play that Little Brother album. Honestly, if you're keeping it tall, like Mr. Show is just it's an absolutely just a flawless body of work, even with the interludes and the skits and just the song placement, the beats. Fonte is one of my favorite rappers. Elzai is on that album. Is another rapper that I adore is Elzai from Detroit. I think he's one of the most technically gifted MCs that's ever picked up a microphone. So yeah, Minstrel Show. I don't even know why. Like I said, there's so many albums, but as soon as you said Little Brother, I said it's one of my top 10 albums of all time. No question, Minstrel Show.
Facts. No, facts. And like what, Ninth Wonder, Big Pooh, Fonte.
No question.
Love all those guys. And that's when I listen to like 9 to 5, when I listen back to the Basement, I can hear that. And that's why I was like, I had to like in my memory bank, I was like, I know who it is. Why is it not coming right now? Yeah. It's like Little Brothers.
Fonte and Little Brother are I can't even quantify how much of an influence they had on my life. Honestly, dead serious.
Also love the shout outs to Jay Dilla because I do love Jay Dilla's beats. Jay Dilla is
we all love Jay Dilla. The Tribe, like Tribe is my number one. Yeah, I could put Tribe on anytime. So
love Tribe.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Tribe album? I'm a Midnight guy.
I was gonna say Midnight, but to be honest with you, Beats, Rhymes, and Life is so good sometimes that like
I feel like Beats, Rhymes, and Life is a very underrated album from them. Like people don't give it the credit that it truly deserves to me, but it's up there. It's up there, and I know it's newer. I know it was a little more
little
modern
contemporary. Yeah, exactly.
than people were used to from those guys. But I mean, Beast Life and Rhymes is a very, very, very good project.
Yeah, that's why I think that's my number one. But I love them, dude.
The low end theory is like mine. That's
So we got it all covered.
Fair. And you're never gonna hear any hate from me on low end.
Exactly. I'll never even hate a song.
Yeah.
I even like the Busta Rhymes. We are off the rails, but I even like the Busta Rhymes and
we're not off the rails. This is the etc. portion of this podcast.
Abstract and the Dragon. Both of those mixtapes are so good. 1 and 2.
Oh, the yes, no question. No, those mixtapes when they came out, like 2016.
The newest one came out. I feel like maybe like a year before the pandemic, because I like discovered the second one during the pandemic, and I was like, let's go. I got new music, even though it wasn't really new. And some, J Dilla beats on there actually.
It's always, listen, it's always new to somebody's ears. Always.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that. You hear that, Raisi? Always new to someone. I like that.
Always.
That's great. And on that note, I feel like this is a great place to end it. Yaw, thank you, man, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Really enjoy talking Knicks, talking hip hop with you. Really appreciate it. Please let our listeners know where they can find you. If you got anything that's on the way, please let them all know.
Sure. First of all, you can catch me on IG and Twitter, Yaw Geez Music, YAWGEEZ Music. Also follow me and my homie Alias's imprint, Theme Music. That's with a Z, Theme Music, MUZIK. Follow us there. I'm always working on music. We're always working on projects for sports as well. Like I said, working on some sports projects coming up soon. I mentioned the NBA thing for NBA 75. And yeah, we're gonna keep, like I said, for me, I hit a point in my life where I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing this, but then somebody told me, hey, you're a rapper, you got to keep rapping. So as long as I can keep doing it, again, I have the ability and I have the inspiration, you're gonna keep hearing bars from me. So more music on the way, more visuals on the way. Just stay tuned for all that.
Awesome. And we're definitely gonna have you back on the pod in the future, man. This is a great conversation.
I've enjoyed myself thoroughly on this podcast. I appreciate y'all having me.
Let's go. And I'll see you at the Bulls game, man.
Yeah, I'll be at the Bulls. I'll be there.
I'll see you there.
There we go. There we go. Hang out with each other in person. I need to make my way back down to New York, go to some of these games too.
Yeah, where are you at right now, Alex?
I'm in Boston.
Bro.
I know, it's tough.
I hate that city.
I know. It's the worst place in the world.
And that's the thing. It has nothing to do, even like aside from the sports teams, I just hate the way the city's constructed. I hate the highways. I hate the roundabouts. I hate the dreariness of it. I'm not a fan of Boston at all. But but listen, your home is down here, bro. Come back home whenever you can, bro.
I'm in White Plains. I'm a Westchester. Man.
Come on back through, man.
We got some things in the work, man. Got some things in the work. Gotta get the missus on board.
Of course. Hey, congratulations. I know you're newly married. Congratulations for that as well. I know
Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the club. Does she yell a little more nowadays? Because that's what I was dealing with as soon as I got married. Just getting yelled at more. You know what I mean? Everything else.
You know what it is. You already know what it is. We don't have to go into it. She taps in. She can hear. I'm not gonna, I'm an attorney too, so I'm not trying to incriminate myself over here. So I'm gonna keep it on the low key because she's not too far. She's outside of that room. So everything's nice and dandy, as everyone needs to know. It's all perfect.
Good. Very good. Very good.
And on that note, thank you, Yaw, for coming on the show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks Jets Etc. podcast. You know what to do. Make sure to give us that 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts if that's where you listen to this podcast. And also leave a comment because that helps us out so greatly. But if you don't listen there, it's okay because we're on Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it, we're there. On top of that, we're also on YouTube. Come watch these beautiful faces, man. Instead of going on to Apple Podcasts or any other platforms, support us on YouTube. Give us a subscription, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You know what it's all about. And while you're there, we also got Winning Picks Weekly, another podcast. John and our video producer, Greg, put in their NFL weekly bets. They're also getting into the NBA action soon. They got the Thanksgiving special coming out soon. So make sure to tap into that. And then last but not least, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You know what it all is. Thank you, everyone, for coming and listening to this awesome pod. Yeah, thank you once again. And just for a tidbit for everybody, make sure to go check out the undefeated Kobe hip-hop video that he did because that shit was fire too. So good. So good.
Rest in peace, my favorite player of all time, Kobe Bryant.
All right, everyone.
Thank you
we'll catch you
much,
later.
Thank you, man. Let's go Knicks. Let's get this Lakers dub, man.
Need that. Gotta get it.
Need that Lakers dub.